All right, I guess I'm recording. I'm going to go ahead and show you all how to use the calendar, I believe. Get some extra things open here, so I'm going to close those. So, start with the screen share. How do I do that one? Whoa, going away at infinity. Okay, so this is the calendar app, right? When you log into Gmail, you'll log in, it'll say loading, you'll get, here's your Gmail, right? So Google Apps actually exist mostly under the 3x3 square over here. So if you click that, you'll get a list of ones that we use. These are all available. We're going to go over Calendar. I'll give you a little description of some of the other ones. Google Plus is kind of like the Facebook of Google. Don't use it a ton, but I think that this video, as well as anything we do on Hangouts on Air, would be stored in the Google Plus. Google Search, of course, you know what that is. Google it. Your account settings, mail, calendar, Drive. We've used Drive a bit with the docs, also sheets and slides we can make. Sites is something we'll talk about, and groups is another one that we'll talk about. Of course, you got contacts, cloud search, and Google Voice. Google Voice was useful if you wanted to add a phone number to your smartphone that is just for the Nowak Society. You can give yourself a Nowak Society Google Voice number, and through the Google Voice app on your smartphone, people call that number and it'll go through to your phone without you happen to give out your personal line or line that you like to get texts and stuff from. And Google Voice can also accept text messages. Anyway, Google Calendar. Go to your calendar. And as you'll see, I've got a couple of calendars set up under my calendars. So I've got strategic planning. That's one where I organize what I'm going to do for the day. There's birthdays that show up. I got Nowak Society meeting schedule, which we were testing out yesterday, and a couple of things showed up. And then I've got some reminders as well. So other calendars, eventually, as we set up our own calendars and stuff, the strategic planning calendar for me will be my personal calendar. So I could actually share that with you all, and you could add my calendar. That would be like if we worked in an office, or if we were trying to schedule meetings with people, you can have their calendar available, so you can actually just see when they're available. So instead of having to guess when you might be a good time for a meeting, you can schedule it up around people's stuff. That, of course, is my research calendar. Couple of cool things. Let's see. So here's a quick ad. You can add things just by typing in, say, dinner with Michael tomorrow at 7 p.m. and it would pop in 7 p.m. So let's say tomorrow at 2 p.m. study research, right? You can also go through the create button. This brings into an entire event. This is useful if you're going to do things like make a video call. This is how I do the Google Hangouts invites. You want to title your event, testing today, just leave this. You can change that to whatever you like. You can make it an all-day event, repeat, things like that. The find a time would be where the different calendars would show up, and you can figure out a time like that. So that'll be useful later as we get to use calendar more. But event details still, you can change which calendar it shows up on. So I got the Nowak meeting schedule calendar. I'll put it on that. Little description. You can change event colors. It's useful for organizing. If we wanted to do one, let's say, based around a training, we could make it yellow, green, blue, whatever we wanted. Then if we wanted, like we had specific workshops, or let's say for the retreat that Shannon's planning, we could go ahead and make it purple. That way on the calendar, anytime you look at Shannon's retreat stuff, purple will show up as events for that. So it just makes it easier to organize and get stuff going like that. Let's make it green for now. Show me as busy or available. That's just, you know, if it's a meeting that you don't want to be disrupted in, or an event, something like that, busy. If it's something like, oh no, this is the time when we're going to be hanging out and collaborating, you can say you're available. That way people can contact you, and it doesn't. Those will change settings on like your phone, your Google, your Gmail stuff. if it's busy and people try and contact you through chat and stuff, it will say that you're busy and in an event. So setting it to available can actually change it so that people can get a hold of you. That may only affect you if you're actually integrating all of your stuff through like your phone and the calendar, Gmail, stuff like that. And of course, the visibility, calendar default, public or private. Some of the things like as we move into having a volunteer calendar, where we would select, volunteer calendar over here, we may have that public so that people can see when we're doing volunteer trainings or having events to come out to. So adding guests, this is where you can do that. You can also select what guests can do, modify event, or invite others, or see guest list. For most internal Nowak stuff, we won't have to worry about it too much because we'll invite, everybody on the board will be invited. In the future, you may want to, control this. With the volunteer one, you may not want people to see the guest list just because it's sharing information that people may or may not want shared. It could also be good if people wanted to see, I don't know, worst case scenario, somebody didn't want to come to an event because someone else was there. If you let them see the guest lists, they can make those decisions. Anyway, so we'll go ahead and save this event for now. This is also, the video call. We can change the video call name, things like that. I'll leave it as this. You can also remove the video call. This is mostly just useful if we're doing like Google Hangouts meetings like we did yesterday or something like that. You can also add attachments. So this is a good way, like let's say we're sending out the brochure to be finalized. We could actually attach whatever final draft we have that we'll be discussing at the meeting. That way, that document is the one that people need. They don't have to go searching for it on Drive or anything like that. You could actually have it pinned down and say, okay, we had several iterations, like here we've got 3 different Nowak de-escalation things going on. So you would actually be able to pick which one you want, most updated one, and attach it right to it. That way there's no confusion on what people are going to be looking at. Saves time, and like I said, also can make it more convenient when you got several iterations of a document. You can add several, you can do all sorts of things. So if we were looking at several different things like the brochure content, things like that, we could look at it all. So anyway, I'm going to save that. And there it is, testing today. It pops up. Now, some useful things in the calendar. Let's say I was like, oh, you know what? I actually wanted to make that for tomorrow. I can actually make a little hand appear when I'm hovering on it. Drag it right over and drag it where I want. Say, oh, okay, I wanted to do it tomorrow. So then that meeting's changed. You can also extend them. Like, I want to make it a 2-hour meeting. I want to make it a half-hour meeting. That's just done by drag and drop. You click it, drag it around, do stuff like that. Also, if you click on the link, it'll bring it back up. You can modify it, anything like that. More actions, you can change owners, duplicate events. Duplicating events is nice if you're going to do weekly meetings. Say it's one of the working groups or something. It's going to be meeting every other week or something. You can duplicate the event. You can also make it repeat down here, which will give you some of these options. Daily, every weekday, every Tuesday or Thursday. I mean, there's lots of different options you can work into this. Select however many weeks you want. Day of the week starts on when it ends. It can end after so many occurrences. Like let's say a working group is going to meet 4 times. You can say 4 meetings, and then it'll stop showing up in the calendar. Or you can keep it on forever or on until, oh, we're not going to meet after the 1st of the year. Just turn it off on December 31st. So, yeah. And let's see if there's anything else I want to share here. Save, delete. Of course, if you wanted to print these things, as you add guests, you'll have a guest list that'll show up over here on the side and tell you who's available or who's coming. So you can print those kind of things. That's useful. If a calendar event like volunteer meeting or something, you want to have a list of people just to make sure who showed up and who didn't, or just a list of names so you know who's attending. Let's see. I'll go ahead and save that. So then as we see, like if I want to, let's say I was organizing, I'm like, oh, I don't actually want to see this stuff. I actually just click on it, it'll take my strategic planning out. So then I can just see what meetings I got scheduled or have already gone by. Also, if it gets like crowded with birthdays, you can turn that off, things like that. You can also change the view. So here I have it on week view. I'm doing things week by week. I can also view it on a month. It'll show up. See that the calendars show up in their different colors. I'll also bring it down to 4 days. Also just an agenda. This can be useful. It looks like I'm tracking breakfast pretty well. But that way I know what's on my agenda and what's coming through. And then you can put it as on your day as well. So I like the week view. Let's see some of the different settings. So display density, you all can play with this if you want to. It's been uncomfortable. I can make it what they call cozy. It tightens things up, makes the icons a little bit smaller. You can also make it compact, which is real small. Some of the different settings you have. This would be, mostly stuff we wouldn't change for the most part unless you have personal preferences on it. You have default event durations. If things are usually an hour for you, you can set it there. You can say 90 minutes, 2 hours, or down to 15. You can change those kind of things. Change when your week starts. Set your working hours. I definitely don't start at 9 a.m., so I could set mine to 10 or 11 if I wanted. Let's see. Default views, custom views. These are just some of the things you can change. Go ahead and I like Fahrenheit. Let's see. No alternate calendar. So these are some of the alternate calendars. I don't think we'll use any of those either. Let's see. Okay. So I'm gonna save. Actually, I want to go into calendars. So in here, this is where the different calendars that you have and the different settings that we have. So with the Nowak meeting schedule, I can edit how notifications show up. So this can be what notifications show up for events or all-day events. I can choose how I like to keep up to date. I can get emails, or let's say if an event changed and I wanted to get a text message, I can select these boxes and they'll actually Google will text me if somebody is unable to make it or this or that. As far as you can change sharing of the calendar, you can make it public, like I said, for volunteers and stuff, or share this calendar with everyone in Nowak. So our Nowak Society, anything you do through your .nowak society or nowaksociety.org email address will show up. So these calendars are available for everybody. I went ahead and added Lauren directly yesterday. If you need me to, let me know. This basically, all it does is send you an email that lets you know you've been invited. But for the most part, you should be able to go into your calendars and be able to find any of the calendars that are made on Nowak. Let's see what other settings we got. This is the mobile setup. Right now, I don't have it set up. I'd have to. They would send me a verification. So I got to go through and actually set that up. Country, phone number. This would be where I set the verification. Put that in, and it would show up for my mobile. So actually, let's go ahead and do it. So this is how you would set it up for your phone. Let's see. So just to show. Oh. So yeah, it's just a text message pops up. Go ahead and enter the code from it. Gotta get back to the calendar now. So yeah, let's see. 648371. Boom. So that would be how you would set up your phone to have these different calendars. Just confirmed, sent me as well. So right now I have them all set up through emails. I'll take that. Can be useful if we start to get busy, or we're tracking projects. Like let's say we're getting close to an event, lots of things moving around. You're trying to stay in contact with different volunteers who are offering services, stuff like that. You can put it on a daily agenda, and it'll actually pop up. What do you need to do today? So lots of little useful things. I also suggest just kind of like exploring around. If you want to know what anything is, you can always just hover over the question marks, and it'll tell you what those are. So things like that. Let's go ahead and save all this. Nice. Okay, so let's see. For the most part, I think that is about what I wanted to show. Yeah, you can click through your weeks or months with the arrows at the top. Always return to today that way. Search your calendar. I can say, boom, hit transcribe, and it shows all of the different times that I've done transcribing on my calendar. So that's useful if you want to see when you were working on something or when you did something, if you're trying to remember where the notes are, things like that, it can be useful. Or future events. I don't have any of those set up, but it would show future events of those things as well. So this can be a useful tool. Also, it can be related to guests. So I could say anything I've invited Lauren to. Oh, no events match that search. So yeah, it's just useful. Also, as you see, the meeting minutes pop up. So Lauren actually owns this one. This one is from April, I believe. So yep. So it can be a good way to track down documents that are related to our meeting schedule. So you can type in team meeting minutes or the date, do different things like that, and then pop up in search. As it goes, when we track things through the @nowaksociety.org email addresses, Google search will search all of our Google apps for things, right? So as I say, now it's not showing up like I thought it might. So I'll have to play around with a little bit more on that. Let's see, calendar. Yeah, I think that will do it for that. This is a good segue into how this is useful. We can also do things. So for the Google Sites, which is another one, to think of this not necessarily as websites. We can make them websites, but we want to think of this more as Nowak sites. These are sites where we will organize programming information, things like that. So I'm going to go to sites to start. And you'll see these are my sites in Nowak. So these are ones that I've set up kind of testing and fooling around with some of the options and stuff. If you come down to browse sites, it'll also say all of the sites in Nowak. So no one else has created a new site yet. So this is empty except for the ones I've made. Of course, you won't have anything in my sites. All of the ones that I have made will be in browse sites for you. So you'll want to go to browse sites, and then you'll see this list of things that I've generated. Some of these will change. They're just ones that I was testing out. I wanted to make several different ones so I could see how they communicate between each other, where it pops up, things like that. To start, I'll go ahead and begin from scratch. So I'll create a site. I've been using classic sites. The new sites are useful, but the classic sites actually has a bit more usefulness as far as some of the templates and things we can use. You can use a blank template. It's just starting fresh and you plug things in yourself. Eventually, that might be easier, but to start with, I've been using some browsing gallery. So under business collaboration, these different things show up, right? So I'm trying to remember which one I was using. I think it might have been teamwork. Yeah. So this is just a template, and this just sets up the site with some basic features. I'm going to go ahead and select it. Name my site. And it'll create the site. Right, so this is the template that pops up. These are, so this template basically put these different things as these would be pages on the site, right? So we got Teams. If I click on the Teams tab, it'll tell me different things about Teams. And so all of the information is in here. As you'll see, this is like written in Latin up here. That's because you can replace it all, right? So you would go to Edit Page, any of this stuff that you want to get rid of. Go through, customize the list. We can take these people out, inactive, active, things like that. You can also click on them. Sorry, it went kind of fast. I went from edit. I saved it. It replaced that text, the Latin at top, and now it says what I typed. So then this is actually the site as it is viewed. I'm not in edit mode. To edit, you go to Edit Page. If you want to add a page, it's right next to it, and it's the Add a Page selection right here. So create a page. To begin with, right now we've got Teams. This could be useful, just organizing for different things. Who's on decorations for the party? Who's on advertising? Things like that. And then you can go in and kind of say, okay, so here's what the duties are. Let's see. There you go. So now Andy is on trash pickup. So you can add, let's see, add an item, make a new name. Let's see. So that's just what, and most of this is just, it's an item checklist that you can create through Google Docs, and it's just an app that puts them in here and can list it. So then we also have team meetings. So this is the integration of the calendar into this agenda, right? And so our team meetings, what I'll do is to edit it, I'll go into edit this Google Calendar, the settings. Let's display another calendar, and I'll display the Nowak meeting schedule. So I'll go ahead and select that. Here are the other options. You can make height, width, view, time zone, things like that. Go ahead and save it. And then as I save the page and go back to edit, saving, boom. Now our different meetings will pop right up, right? And so this is actually on the page. So embedding the calendar like this can be useful for tracking programs, stuff like that. Like let's say we were planning up to an event on July 1st. It would list, the calendar and all the things we got to take care of before then, right? Action items. This is useful for going through and adding, like let's see. So, brochure printing, description is what's print, resolution is go to printer, 100% complete or not. If I go in, I can be like, oh, did that today, and that's done. So, this can be useful for actually tracking, it's like workflow tracking, keeping track of like things that need to be taken care of, who's going to do this, who's going to talk to this, things like that, and can just be a way of tracking its progress. Discussion. So basically, this is it's a way of integrating the Google Groups into the site, and so way of just following through and doing stuff like that. So go ahead and save it. And on the discussion, when it publishes, it'll pop up. So yeah, this is the discussion side. Documents. This is where you can add things. You can add it from the drive. You can add a link, or you can add a file. So add anything I got going on. This is actually a document from my computer, so it's got to upload it. If you add things from the drive, it won't take as long to upload, of course, things that are shared in Nowak. So like the brochure content that Shannon's been putting together, if that's stored on the Google Drive, at nowaksociety.org Google Drive, things will just pop up. Makes it really easy to share them that way. So that's one of the advantages of having the at nowaksociety.org Google Apps, is the things that we store and track there. It makes it really easy to actually share them and to move between the different things that we got going on. So let's see. Well, that uploads. Let's see. So that would be the sites that I was talking about, and then Google Groups we can talk about as well. So Google Groups, let that pop up. So these are the Google Groups. So we can think of Google Groups as group discussion, right? It's just a good way to track, like it says, all of your discussions in one place, organized with favorites and folders. Choose to follow along via email and quickly find unread posts, right? So express yourself. You can customize your fonts and stuff like that. Let's see. Yeah, you all can read through this stuff. You can also access groups from anywhere using your mobile device in an optimized site. So in my groups, we've got the board members. Now this is the group chat board. Okay, so this is actually where the discussion happens, right? So I posted, oh, CPR first aid update. I click on that. This would be the original post, right? Hey folks, I spoke with Linda. Here it is. This is all the info we got. Shannon went ahead and looked. So then it turns out, this would be like an action item to move forward on. Either we need to move forward and schedule a date, or go ahead and figure out what we're doing with Groove or whatever. So I can also post a new topic. So for board members, since we're on the board member group, I could say, oh, you get the idea of what's going on. So type of post, start a discussion, or I can make an announcement. So also if you have an announcement, this is useful. I could just say, oh, you know what, I just want to announce we finalized the date with the Red Cross. This is the date that worked for them. This is the date that Nowak Society talked about. I could make it an announcement. Boom, it'll actually post and it'll show up that way. Most of them will start as a discussion because we want it to be a back and forth. The announcements, I don't know, it has the same. You can kind of leave comments and things like that, but not the same way. So let's see. I can also attach a file. So I just temp workshop stuff.google doc was just added as a file for this one. So it'll be the one that'll be discussed basically. And bam. So now it's a new post. How to use Google Apps for Nowak. Post it. Go to the doc if I want. Oh, let's take this on. Oh, just so you can see that as I posted in the Google group, it showed up in my email and said, oh, here's what it is. And when I go to it, it actually has a similar format. So, oh, that's why it was downloading it. Okay. It's not helpful, but whatever. Okay. So it said that file I was trying to upload on the drive was too big. Anyway. So yeah, that's a rundown. I think the Hangouts is getting a little long now. It was just a test out anyway. I just kind of wanted to talk through some things, see how it's going. So yeah, I'm going to end it for now.